but there was a proposal to give a $35,000 tax credit if you hired somebody. My proposal would be that we baseline all the employers in the state with the amount of employees, the number of employees they have. For example, my company, we have 35 employees, so that would be my baseline number. For every employee that we hired and maintained above that 35 employee number, we would get a tax credit equal to the tax, the income tax paid by that employee or those employees. Now that's a revenue neutral, doesn't cost the state any money, but we don't get any money out of that portion of the transaction. However, the state has a net gain because those folks who are now in a job are not on Medicaid, they're not on food stamps, they're contributing, and we're gaining with new sales tax and economic stimulus.
Right. All right, Representative Burgoyne.
Well, Dustin, I favor tax credits for job creation. The details of any particular tax credit are always very complicated. There are always unintended consequences to these things. A tax credit that is targeted to, one, creating good-paying jobs. That's a very serious problem we have in the Treasure Valley. There's a certain segment of the economy, even when times are bad, where the pay is low enough, it's less affected than by those jobs that pay very well, which have unfortunately been affected first in this recession. 60,000 manufacturing jobs in Idaho gone. Very good paying jobs. So yes, I favor tax incentives to help create jobs, recognizing that they have to pay for themselves and then some. What we want to do is have a net gain here. And so I think it's extremely important.
Okay, thank you. Now this question, I've got one for each of you on the same sort of topic. Representative Burgoyne, the Idaho House is heavily Republican. I believe they hold 52 seats, and it's possible that they could hold even more after the November 2nd elections. As a Democrat working with that, how are you going to be effective in your next term if reelected?
Well, Dustin, I would predict that the Democrats may hold more, and the Republicans hold less
that's
in the
also
next
possible.
election on Tuesday.
That's very possible.
But you are right. It could go either way, or we could just stay where we are. I have worked in this last legislative session very effectively with my Republican colleagues. The legislature itself has credited me with passing major pieces of legislation by near unanimous votes. Indeed, one of the pieces of legislation I'm most proud of adds work incentives into disability retirements for state employees to make sure that people aren't sitting idle when they can be working. That bill passed the House on a vote of 69-1. It passed the Senate on a vote of 35-0. And I'm very proud of that legislation. It was a major piece of legislation in terms of how it affects our retirement system for state employees. I've passed other pieces of major legislation working with my Republican colleagues, and I've helped defeat legislation working with my Republican colleagues. I don't think Republican and Democrats nearly as important in the legislature as urban and rural. That seems to be the major divide.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I apologize for that that characterization of the Idaho House. I'm sorry. Mr. Perez, if elected, you would be a freshman legislator working with lawmakers who, some of them have been there for 15, 13 terms. How would you be effective in the Idaho House of Representatives if elected November 2nd?
Well, first of all, I would become a part of the majority party. And that would give me direct access to leadership and give me more influence, give the citizens of District 16 more influence in the legislature. But aside from that, as far as working with the other legislators, being junior, I would treat people with mutual respect. I would come at it from a position of an understanding that when I'm talking to another legislator, I'm not talking just to that legislator. I'm actually talking to the citizens of the district that they represent. I would hold the other folks to that same standard in that they're not just talking to me, they're talking to the citizens of District 16. And with that basis, a foundation for a relationship, I think I can be effective working with leadership and working with the other legislators throughout the state to really do some bold things for District 16.
Okay, thank you. And this question goes to you. If your party leadership presents a bill with which you are not comfortable, are you okay with bucking party leadership if you feel it's the right thing to do?
I'm there to represent District 16 and the citizens of District 16. And if I believe that the interests of the citizens of District 16 are different from that of the Republican leadership, that's not even a hard choice for me. I'll come down on the side of the citizens of District 16 every time. I'm not there to represent the Republican parties. I'm sure Grant's not there to represent the Democrat Party. We're there to represent the citizens of our district, and I take that very seriously, and we'll work hard for them regardless of party affiliation.
Representative Burgoyne.
Well, I have a history in the legislature of voting against my party's leadership, and when I don't agree with them, I vote against them. Many is the time in the Idaho House